so against jail, I can't rhyme bars. Rappers think they're MCs cause they got an award. Sucking and bum rushing, but giving praises to God. Giving praise to Jesus Christ and giving praise to the Lord. Sin as if it grows on trees. Living a fraud. Living in a mansion abroad. Or live on the street. Too much dying to call this living, so I live on this beat. Typical IHS style. Jack beats for fun. Jack beats with midnight, Jack beats with sun. Actually, Jack beats with Simon, I'm son, we kill him. We out that roll with Hannibal Barker, millennium. Not these Negroes on blocks hanging like chin species. Hanging from Obama's home, not slave hanging trees. Babies having babies more than they did before. Do things you won't regret, little brother be sure. No second guessing, no messing with weapons. No matter how smart you think you are, no messing with lessons. Learning continue to earn karmic credit. Systems been crashed, everything is bought with debit or discharged with bonds. So I'm using my word, trying to see with 2 eyes, and I'm using the third for knowledge, target practice. I'm using a nerd to give people the avian flu. They're using the bird. Musta gave a mad cow. Look how they glad now. Blackface on colonism, no one's sad now. I'm so against jail, I can't rhyme bars. I'm so against jail, I can't rhyme bars. Low gas for inaugurations of black presidents, voted in by Europeans and black residents from US ghettos to Toronto housing projects. Prophet Drew said when the Asiatic heads office with the Euro vice press. So I know he spoke real. Garvey knew the Arab Jew opened the circle 7 seals. Haile Selassie knew, so he wore the Star of David. 6-point X Alpha is a star boy. So talk less and listen more, cause you got 2 ears. Burnt copper, told a cop star. Been here for years. Been here before that red man. Been here before clears. Been here to bear witness to the trail of tears. I planted the now chopped down cherry tree. Also planted a self-destruct switch in the Hobbit family. Activated, caused combustion and severe sunstroke. Me, Morisco, or an African slave in the yoke. When I'm serious, I know you take me for jokes. Then claim you took me off my land to take me on boats. Take me for molasses, take me for set quotes. Now you think less and give it free and take that notes. We take vaccines and shots that give strep throat. Moors evangel for dollars just like Creflo. Some Moors are black people, all black people are Moors. Some blacks say that they're Christian, Harlem Jews were Moors. Even Martin Lawrence played a night because he's a Moor. You can say what you wish, even the fish is a Moor. Even to dock your ship has to do with the Moor. No matter how much of us you kill, there would still be a Moor. X-Clan, again, leather pheasants, right? Telling you, you used to see these regular, right? Leather pheasants, right? Leather pheasants, X-Clan, right? R.I.P. Sugar Town too. Moorish MC, avalanche flow, wash your floaters and rhyme chunks. All I see in dress code today is bike punks. Pants off your ass, but you're wearing a belt, but don't use it. Take it off, give you welts like dad used to do it. Black with no autopsy, no knowledge of self. Had me in stores, raiding clothes racks and store shelves. I'm from Tobago, never fell for Santa and elves. R.I.P. Gummer, and those murdered by simple themselves. Big up the thunder, never charge me for one beat. And that's the MO of all producers that keep it unique. They know I don't keep truth this sweet. Flow, force, abundant, lyrics won't deplete. Can't retreat now, I made it too far. Wild, corny rappers still only write rhymes in 16 bars. I might as well too, since that's how execs brainwash subjects. Multi-dimensional MC, underground like subdepths. Now the blown-up picture is Noriega, putting up the 5 and the 2, just like the Moors. put up the 5 and the 2. This CNN, Noriega, gangster rapper, stunt drum money rapper. Go right now, go into the tape, the little tape thing with the drawer, pull off the tape, unravel the insert, and then read the credits. This is a big CD. This is a big underground CD. CNN War Report. Moorish MC, not a poet, not a rapper. On tracks, vocals on the red, a tongue clapper. Real as can be. I'm not a rapping actor like your favorite Ashkenazi, more spill and drink a Sprite after. Won't teach you the law. And when he gets captured, he will get out like 3 strikes to back catchers. But you can't get out, being you awarded a crown. Man got straight denied the due process in Moorish gown and sashes. All laws divine, he man's his average. Power of thought got God's acting like a savage. Color of law got the savage playing God's position. Then savages pray to stars so ancestors won't listen. So colonizers listen, piss and tell you it's raining. Program your children and try to tell you they failing. Some of you need concentration camps, you don't think. Eating animal parts uncooked, it still looks pink. In order to climb charts, rappers accept exec wings. They only give you a deal cause you're whack and flow stinks. Trust me, you like the exec's wings, and I think that you got a deal cause your flow stinks, nigga. You got turban on, the jewel, right? So Muhammad Ali's on it, Yasin Bey's on it, Sprague is on it, Butu's on it, Swiss Beats is on it, Maury's on it, Nas on it, Flavor Flav's on it, Snoop's on it. Look at the jewel. Look at the jewel. Sister, you're Roxanne. Right? Look at me, Roxanne with her fez with the tassel on there, right there. It's real Roxanne. Everybody knows real Roxanne.
For me, right, and Cujo, right now, a brief, quick rundown of like how long you've been here, and then what you've been doing for that period of time. Just very quickly, I think what your sister said you came up from, because Cujo's from Trinidad and Tobago as well, right? Yes, years ago. So, I'm from Tobago. Cujo, are you from Tobago or Trinidad?
Yeah, both.
Yeah, well, yeah, both. I mean, but like the original, because I think my family, I trace back to Black Rock. Was you soon Red Rock? They want to change your name? Huh?
Lambo.
Lambo?
Yeah.
Right. All right. So from Canada. Okay, and so you came up about how long ago it's been? You said because you came up to work. I guess there's some program that was happening whereby there's actors come up here to work on farms. Is that how you got up here? Yeah, that's how I did it. And that was through your sister? She connected you with that? No, actually I did that with my own from Trinidad. Okay. So yeah, I've been up there since April. April of 2018. Yeah. Okay. My first flight to Canada actually was 2016, but as basically contract, like the NRE contract here we took home. So we took them up there was April 2018. Right. Really, that's so long I've been up here since Jesus. Okay, so 2018. But you've been here before? Oh yeah. Okay. 2016.
Yeah, I don't know if
2018.
hold on, I don't know if Brother Aaron, if you could talk into the mic more. Cause you're kind of muffled. It's kind of muffled.
Yeah, sure. Just better.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Yeah.
You hear me better now?
Yeah, yeah.
A little bit better, but yeah, it sort of still feels, but whatever. Maybe it's, maybe it's a picture. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, or maybe speak up a bit. Okay, so then 2008, you're here. You're working along. At this point, you sort of looking at feeling like you like up here and want to stay up here. Is that correct, or when does that all happen? Or yes, that is correct. And then And so then, I guess someone, a friend of yours, a colleague of yours, what's his name? I don't know, I can't remember if you gave me his name.
No, I didn't give his name. Actually,
Okay,
yes, actually, member, friend, brother.
Yeah.
You want to
a church member's friend's brother?
No, I met him through church.
Sorry, church.
Yeah, the guy who put me on the car, I met him through church.
Okay.
Okay.
So then, when did you first contact? And this is a guy you're talking about how you want to stay up here, and then someone says, "We got a guy for you." Is that how this all happened?
Yes. Exactly.
Okay.
Now, one of the things though, just for clarity for yourself, is that you never left anywhere to come anywhere, because all the islands and the Caribbean and all that is part of America.
I told him that. That's
You know what I mean? Yeah.
So that what I was trying to say, that's part of what I was saying to you, Darren, about how this process, see, this is a beautiful thing for us to get on. The process that they have told you that is actually the, how would I put this? It's actually an erroneous and allusion to what it really is. Because all that stuff is how they are trying to extract finance from you, versus what this really is you doing the knowledge of where you are, who you are, and then standing on that. That comes through your community and your brothers, and that's where the nation comes into it, where, as Cujo says, you didn't go anywhere. It's like you left from, Port of Spain and went to, I don't know, wherever, another spot.
Yes.
Yeah. That's really what's happened. That's how you have to see this.
And then they're trying to tell you need a visa to go from San Fernando to Arima or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? And then people are getting a license to go. You know what I mean? It's all a money grab.
No. Here's another beautiful example. Probably, I know a lot of people in the West Indies. At least my mother was always saying this to me. They had to walk here and walk there, right? So when you were walking from San Fernando to Port of Spain, no one was stopping you on the way. No one was telling you you couldn't go there. But then up here, they tell you need something called a license to go from here to there. And then anytime on the road, they can stop you and sort of ask to look at your license. And if you don't have your tie pushed up properly and the right shoes on, they can start extracting finance from you. But these are some of the illusions that you have to come to terms with and understand sort of the reality behind the illusion. So that's other stuff that's the other layered stuff that we talked about, having a driver's license, having a passport, all those things. Okay, so first time you make contact with them is when?
The month of July.
Okay. And then
Hey Omar, your background's kind of loud. Hey Omar, your background's kind of loud there, man. Can't hear anything.
Okay, sorry, bro. Sorry. Go ahead.
So one of the classes. Sorry about that. Yeah, one of the classes he had in Brampton at that time. Yes, was when I met him. After that, I remember two of his classes. What he taught the North American, it was basically the same thing as we were just talking about.
Yeah.
He touched about it.
What was the position that they were coming as? Were they coming as a embassy, or were they coming as a law firm, or were they coming as how were they presenting themselves to you?
Actually, I had a bit of both, actually. Because when I heard of him, I heard he was a lawyer, but then when I went to the class, then was introduced to the Moorish community.
Mm.
And also, here's the question. How many people were there? If you can remember.
A little over 10.
Okay. And where were you guys meeting?
Honestly, if you had to recently come here at, all I went was in Brampton, next to a church.
It's a what?
Next to a church.
A church?
Next to a church, yes.
Oh, next to a church?
Yes.
So it was like a house?
No, actually it was like a little room. Okay, so you have the church and then you have a building like to the back of it. Also you walk in there and you have the like a room, like a classroom.
But attached to the church?
Yeah, attached to the church.
Wow, okay. All right, so go on. So then Kudu, you see, he's coming at it from, he's connecting with these people from what they know, which is a lawyer.
Yeah.
And he's using that, and I'm sure he's still working his nonsense in these courts, so they probably kicked him out of there, but I'm sure he's just hanging out like a whatever. But anyways, we can see this is whatever. Okay, so this is back in July now. So then he starts talking about this stuff. So then, how does it then move from there? Oh, so what is he then saying? So he's saying the stuff that you were saying that we were saying about how this is one landmass, whatever, right? Yes. So then how does it move from there? This is brilliant here, Cujo. How does it move from, what is he then saying? So, okay, so then explain to me then how it gets from there to, so obviously what happens is you then say, well, I want to stay here or something. Is that how that happens?
Well, yeah, basically, that's how it happened because, after my first 2 years, eventually I made up my mind that I wanted to remain and, I was looking for a way or avenue. Okay. And he presented it through this. And he said I should do it through this.
Okay, so here's another question. Did you pay to
I'm like, hold on 1 minute. No, I did not. Well, 1 second, please.
What did he say?
Oh, he said, hold on.
Wow. He said, Alright, bye.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry about that.
It's all good.
Bless you. So, okay, so did you have to pay for classes?
No, I did not.
Okay, so then he presented to you that this was the avenue that you could stay, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so then what happens then?
Well, then after that, he told me it was 2,000.
What?
3 grand.
Told you it would cost $3 grand to do that.
Yeah, 3 grand.
Okay, and then what was the?
3 grand. He said,
I just have to blow my nose. Hold on, please.
Yes.
Okay, go on. Go ahead. You have something to say too. Go ahead.
Yeah, you say for the 3 grand, I will get the people who got the status correction and the claim of rights and all that along with the Moorish ID card. And I believe it was a Moorish driver's card as well, driver's permit card.
Right. Now, was there any templates of those shown to you before that, or they just told you 3 grand and?
Templates about the document.
Yeah.
What I got was an application and an oath form signed up before.
Right. So people are paying them 3 grand. They're getting some papers or whatever, and then they're getting an oath form from them people who charge them 3 grand. $3 grand. And again, we keep telling people, this is why we do what we do. This is why we have 2,000 videos or whatever. So whoever might just bump into one of our stuff, which is how the last 2 people that we talked to, that's how they got down with this. How'd they get down with this? Because they were researching on their own. Nobody wasn't telling them anything. On their own, they were doing their own research. We're taught that that's self-counsel. We don't need no consulate court to do something for us. Because you better be of sound mind and you better have some good morals around you that you know personally that you can call on the phone or something like that, or go check them or sit on their couch or whatever. Better. Because other than that, this is what you have to deal with. These type of Moors. Moors who making you take oaths. Moors who's charging you 5,000 for some writ writing class or something like that. You can go on RVB publications, download writs for free all day. You go to Moorish Nation Public Records, download writs for free all day. What do you mean you're paying for somebody to teach you how to write a writ? You ought to slap you. Somebody teaching you to write a writ and you're paying? Brother Landry already wore the shirt. We told y'all we're the morticians. We're the dead barriers. All these Moors out here playing games. We're the morticians. We're the dead barriers. Because only a dead individual is going to tell somebody $3,000 for some papers that came out of a printer. $3,000 for some papers that came out of a printer? And on top of that, we taught you we don't sell paperwork. We taught these people. Islam for the record, this is GS Cujo L. This is Brother Cujo L. This is Iron Sheik Moorish MC. This is Kevin McCletchy L. This is all the stuff. Been on this at least hard, strong 10 years. 2008, October, during the convention is when I proclaimed my nationality. Right there. And then what do those Moors at the quote-unquote Moor Science Temple tell me to do? They said, when you get back to Canaanland, don't call that Canada ever again, because Canada is a republic of the U.S. Corps. So don't call that Canada anymore as a Moor. Call that Canaanland. And nobody could talk BS because Canaanland's on the Washita map. And anybody who's indigenous knows that up here's Canaanland. Even the goddamn slaves, this is what the Moors told me, even the slaves who were at Harriet Tubman, they were going to Canaan. So anybody that's telling you that they're out here in this jurisdiction called Canaanland and they don't bring us up, they don't bring up the first Moorish Science Temple of America in Canaanland, those are probably dirty Moors. Because everybody reps us that don't live in Canaanland. F what you heard. I don't know what you heard, but F what you heard. And these people who came through our doors, who sat in our class, people who we let them be in the video, people who certain people brought to their house, made them be in their house, be around their children or whatever. People who were in our class, not over some online whatever, inside the temple in the class. Inside the temple in the class. Now they're telling people $3,000 for some papers. that these are the same papers and the same nationality card or right to travel card or student card or whatever. The Moors in the Moorish Science Temple of America, who I declared my nationality before inside their Moorish Science Temple of America, they said, see this card right here that we're giving you? This is a membership card for the Moorish Science Temple of America. But if you want a nationality card of identification, when you get back to Canaanland, you're going to go to this website right here, rvbaypublications.com. You're going to go to the, oh yeah, and this is when rvbaypublications.com had only about maybe 10 drop-down boxes or whatever. For people who say that they're not putting in no work and they're just out here robbing people or whatever, there was probably only 10 stuff up there in 2008 when we used to go to rvbaypublications.com to go study. There's probably 10 drop-down boxes. Go check now how much are on there. And then go check all these Moorish Science Temple of America websites and tell me how much stuff they put up in the last 10 years opposed to this one website that all these dirty bastards have a problem with. Why? They said, go to that website and through the Great Seal, you can get an actual card that's going to be your ID. So that way you have the membership for if anybody talks BS to you about Moorish Science Temple and how are you or whatever and all that stuff. Here's your certificate of sheepdom. Here's all this stuff. We already put you through the adept chamber and all that. You're straight. Here's the stuff. Here's the charter, the Moorish Holy Temple of Science Charter, and the Moorish Science Temple of America Charter. Oh, here's the Mufti seal. Here's the Mufti. All the Mufti stuff. You're going to need those. Definitely going to need those when you start doing what you're doing. If based on what you've been doing when you were African, black, or whatever, the fact that you're more, there's also Muftis. So here's all the stuff for that. These Moors told us straight. It's not what we say. Allah guides the Moorish movement, is what Noble Drew Ali said. Allah guides this. So just in case, because you heard about the sellouts and all that stuff, the Negro black ones. Just in case you want to think they sell out or whatever, like just remember that Allah guides this. Not some man because he has a fez or he has a card that said he's the supreme whatever. Allah guides this. And we see, the ancestors and Noble Drew Ali and Allah working behind the curtain. People who get through our doors. Because what were they doing? Researching on their own. And they found us. Those are the ones we want. We don't want the lazy asses who want a consular court to do everything for them because they're a dumbass. We want competent people. We don't want people call themselves general of some consul and they just been in that jurisdiction for 6 months. How the hell are you a general of some consulate when you just got there? The hell are you talking about? And who the hell are you people? I don't know any of you people. Where were y'all in 2008? All you consular court people, you got your picture up and you got jurisdiction of certain areas and all that stuff. Where were you people in 2008? Enough people, when I say the general or whatever, they put in some work to be a general. People came yesterday and they're your general. You're a dumbass. You are a dumbass. So you're playing to be a follower. This is not about follower. This is about I, self-law, and master. It's not about follower. Priesthood is dead. How much times must it be repeated so you know that the priesthood is dead? The priests have all gone mad. All of them. Look, they're telling people $3,000 for some papers. You tell me that's not, these people are gone mad? He's a head of a USAR or whatever. He's a USAR version in Canaanland. Telling people $3,000. Where were these people in 2008? All of a sudden, $3,000. This is what we're dealing with up here, that we see has manifested this opportunist Moorish idea, whether they're opportunists for name, whether they're opportunists for fame, whether they're opportunists for likes, whether they're opportunists for shares, whether they're opportunists for hearts, whatever. I remember it was only heavy hitters in 2008. You couldn't find dirty Moors. What do you mean dirty Moors? What are those? Those are just some stuff that's in the literature. They weren't out like how they are now. They're just in the open. Like we already exposed them that they got some people for $5,000. And then a year and a half, 2 years go by, then another person come up and say, oh yeah, I found this. And yeah, how much they get you for? Oh yeah, $3,000. And then everybody's coming out the woodworks. Everybody's selling something right now that can't even do anything for you. How about stop being played? But we already know that the priesthood cannot be reformed. The priesthood cannot be reformed. And once again, I know people who had stomach flu. And people who I know who had stomach flu, after they had stomach flu, they went back looking normal. But it seems like certain people, who people call master teacher, are around certain people who call themselves some whoever they are. And master teacher is just looking run down. Master teacher looking like energy vampires are sucking his life force. The voice isn't as strong. You know, like, I mean, it was just last year that they started everything or whatever, and you know, people were on the stage and people were looking strong and firm, and then 2019, I'm seeing that everybody's looking strong and firm, turbans tight, they're glowing and stuff like that, and this one individual is looking burnt out. How come he's looking burnt out when if people aren't sick anymore, then they shouldn't be looking sick. If people aren't sick, then why are they looking sick? And you can't escape the energy vamps. Especially when you're sincere. Especially when you're faithful to what Noble Drew Ali brought. People take advantage of that. I know, because I'm a GS. And people take advantage of Moore's kindness and then suck them dry. And then these people are burnt out because they put all their energy into some BS opposed to what it was that they were originally doing. Like, I've seen it. It's not a fake thing that Brother Mario Bay came out with Go Underground or whatever. That's not a fake thing. That's a real thing that's been happened. Because these people who put their life on the line for these dumbasses get nothing back. And why should they continue to do that? They got other stuff that they could be doing. The hell they're wasting their time on people who don't give a shit. I'll go underground too if I had something else. People are lucky all I got is more science, one Noble Drew Ali brought. Or there might not be any Canaanland. I'm cut from a different cloth. I don't do burnout like that. I make sure I get my sleep in. I don't play around with these people. They have me up all night and all that BS. I already know people are fraud. Lines drawn. Nothing to discuss. I already know what it is. I ain't stressing about that. We're trying to build a computer lab at the temple. And these people are getting $5 grand for papers. We can't even get $25 dues from Moors. Moors are struggling out here. That we should be able to say, yeah, forget dues. Everything's paid for. We're straight. We can't even do that because of these kind of Moors. That we brought up not to be like this.
Yeah, paperwork.
Now, was it to sign up under United States of America Republic?
No.
Like what do you sign? What is the application for? Like what are you signing up for?
No, the application was about the Moorish.
You see what I'm saying? We're just listen, brother. As you know,
Divine movement.
Okay, and so there was paperwork that effect that you had to sign. What you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, almost like our sign up thing, correct? No, you're thinking Cujo like that same, or we don't know. So it's a sign up form. Do you remember what kind of info?
No, the form was United States of America Republic. Sorry, that's what it was.
Right. Okay. Right.
Okay. Very good.
So just for your clarity too. So do you watch any of those videos I sent you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So
what do you think of them? Sorry, which videos did you send them?
I sent them everything that we put out exposing Cameron.
So even our
everything.
The trial. Yeah, I saw the one with the tribunal was speaking about that.
Right. Okay. So so Cujo, you were gonna say something? I think maybe you're just gonna ask me, so what do you think now after you've seen that?
Oh no. Yeah, I was gonna ask I was asking if you saw those because so you can see that this is not something new.
Oh yes.
Like
yes,
this is not something like this is not something like he just got you and you're an innocent bystander.
Yeah, because the date on those things was like that was like 2015, 16, I believe.
So did remember we were having this conversation? Did I not say that? Did we not say that? That it's been 4 years of this shit has been doing this?
Oh yes.
So remember, just I'm gonna quickly go off on a slight tangent. I've been talking Cujo about this. So here we are as a set of people. Let's call ourselves Trinidadians just for denotative or whatever. And we're trying to get ourselves back together. And here our brothers are robbing, stealing, lying from us. How are we gonna come together?
Exactly. Because it's just like this creating this trust.
Exactly.
Well, not even that. He's being treated us. Like, let's be honest. If this was like which is what it is. This is nationality stuff. Where man is basically selling men to other countries. That's basically what he's doing. Alone, you were part of your nation, and what he's doing is he's now selling you. He's selling you as a corporate entity to someone, telling you that it's under the guise of being some kind of nationality paperwork. It's absolutely counter to what he's supposed to be doing. This is treasonous activity. I mean, racketeering, kidnapping. You know what I'm saying? And you start running down this shit. You start realizing like basically he's selling you. Am I not right, Cujo?
Yeah, pretty much. And then remember that the thing that he's selling you is called inalienable. And if it's inalienable.
Oh, yes.
Inalienable. So if it's inalienable, it's something that can't be sold. And the inalienable isn't something that we're saying. That's international law. That they're committing high treason by telling you $3,000 for some papers to make you a Moor or whatever.
Yeah.
Like here's an example. Sorry, just to cut you for a second. Here's an example. Could I change you from being a Trinidadian? Could I change that? I'm saying, can I change the melanin in your skin? Can I change your blood?
No, I cannot.
Of course. So you are what you are.
It's true.
But what he hasn't given you is, first of all, the keys to that. And then, in fact, what he's done is he's gotten you to sign off on a document that sells you your knowledge to some other entity, which is absolutely involved in slavery, slave tactics, and extracting
human trafficking, extortion, you name it.
All of that stuff.
Right? Like they're not gonna tell you, they're not gonna tell you that the guy who is head of the United States of America Republic, whatever, is a man that used to rob rent to own places.
What are you doing? You used to rob what? What are you doing?
Rent to own. Rent to own.
What do you mean, man?
He has cases. He has past cases of being a thief.
Oh.
Not who you dealt with. Right.
Sorry, hold on. Okay.
Yeah,
what he's saying here is that the guy that Camry is saying that he's connected with, yes, Noble Camry L's sort of boss, let's say, has been convicted or is up on a number of charges of robbing people. Oh, okay.
So you're not dealing with people who have any type of credibility or honor.
Integrity.
Zero. This is how they get by.
Hello.
Yeah.
Are you still there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm still there. Okay. All right. So then go on. So he says $3,000 for this paperwork for those things. Okay. This is back in July, correct? Yeah. Back in July. Okay. So then I guess obviously you have the $2,000, right? Oh, you had that. You had that. So then how do you give it to him? Well, the transfers. Okay. Yeah. So okay. This is back when? The transfers. I was around September. I did this. Okay. So for those e-transfers in September, you were to get your what was it again? Tell me, run down the documents again. Hold on. The license, the so-called license for the right to travel. Yes. Moorish nationality card. And the documents, Moorish documents. With the national appellations and the status corrections. Very good. Okay, so you pay him his money in a series of things. What do you get exactly? Start talking to me about what you get. Oh, I got just people with for the nationality stuff and the status correction stuff. Yes, judicial, notice of confirmation, legal notice, and the status correction. Okay, and so this paperwork, then you're supposed to go on your computer and put your name. Sorry, running down the house here. So she gives you the paperwork blank. You fill it out. Oh no, actually, basically, he filled out everything with my name on it and everything. Already printed out with my name on it. Interesting. Okay. So just to show you, maybe you can speak to this Kudo, but part of where this comes to with us is that we don't fill your paperwork out for you. From the perspective that we give you the paperwork for you to go and study on your own. That's the other part of this from a perspective that you need to be up to speed on this. Right? Yeah. That's just another thing as you move forward with us. I don't know, you probably have studied that, but maybe what will happen, Kudo, maybe we can do a class and run through the paperwork again or something, right? Could you repeat that?
No, because the like just look at it like anything else. How are you how are you going to be tested when they didn't give you the textbook to study from?
How am I going to be tested?
If you never had a textbook.
Because what he's
right.
Because what he's also saying, when you go to, let's say you're to come here to become a Canadian citizen, and you should go to classes and stuff. You know that, right? Like you're supposed to. There's a certain level of knowledge as a citizen here,
as a civilian,
as a landing immigrant that you're going to have. That's part of the indoctrination. You're going to have to know that Canada was incorporated or created at this time. You're going to have to know what the flag means. Like, there's a spot up at St. Clair and Yonge that I'm up there at the library sometimes, and I see all the so-called immigrants coming out of there with their little Canadian flags and their little things after being sworn in as citizens. But that doesn't happen overnight. And on top of that, they have to have a certain knowledge to then, to be sort of, how do you call it? To be deemed to be citizens here. Am I not correct, Cujo? Cujo? I don't know if he's maybe walking away. So no, I was just talking about the fact that being a Canadian citizen here, you got to go through classes, you got to study.
Oh yeah. Right.
So you have to have at least a certain basic knowledge just to be here. So that's all part of that too. So that's what I think Cujo was getting at. Okay, so then he gives you those two documents, and that's back when again?
That's in September.
Okay, and then you're waiting on your cards, correct?
Yes.
And so what starts happening then?
Okay, so after that, what happened is also supposed to notify any corporate office, I should say any thing, and he said that he would have already done that, send out whatever notification to the corporation that I would
that would be involved with your stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. No, and that again comes back to the thing of their operation is for people who want babysitters. Their operation doesn't work with people who study, because people who study realize that they could do the stuff that they're claiming they could do for themselves.
Yeah.
So why am I going to pay you $5,000 to do something that I could do for myself for free?
That's true what you're saying, but I mean, after, as I said, he charged 3,000. So in my head, that the 3,000 will cover all of that. So.
Right. But that's the thing. Like, if the 3,000 is covering anything, it should be that you're leaving with something. Like the 3,000 shouldn't be given, and then they're giving you the papers. You should have got the papers if you paid the 3,000.
But he did say he got papers.
Say again?
He did say that he got papers.
No, but he's still waiting for them to do something with it. He's still waiting for them to send stuff out. He's still waiting for them to go through some process. But the money's spent already.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
You know what I mean?
Sharon, is that correct? Do you know if they sent any of that stuff out?
He said that he did on many occasions, and he said yes, he did.
Okay, so here's some of the stuff that you need to start. Oh, Cujo, I don't know what's your take on this, but don't you think that immediately, very soon, he should figure out whether that stuff actually has been sent out or not? Cujo? I don't know, maybe it's my phone. So that would be the first step. Okay, so then go on. Hello?
Yes.
So then he was supposed to have sent that stuff out. He never did. And then I thought there was a period of time when you started asking him about the cards, right? That never showed up.
Oh, yeah.
Cujo, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're now getting to the card part. Because I'd also said to him, I think you had to do something, or maybe the phone cut out. But I was also saying to him, because he was saying that things that the gentleman was supposed to have, or that Cameron was supposed to send the stuff out. Do you not think it's proper that he go and send to make sure that stuff's been sent to those places. I was asking you about that.
No, but why? If those things were sent out by somebody who charged you $3,000 for something that can't be bought or sold, are those things legitimate?
Of course. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Well, just from a perspective, what has to happen is he just needs to start the process over again.
Because all those things are void because you bought it, it's void.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
All right. What I mean?
So, okay. So then, what happens with the cards? You start calling him for the cards, or the cards are supposed to be delivered, and then what? So tell us about the card thing, because I think this is it, summing it up.
Yes. What happened? After I collected the people from him, when we talked for a bit, he said that he sent all the, like I said, after a couple of times, he said yes, he did send all the people to the respected officers and corporation that he was supposed to, and that the card will come at least 2 to 3 weeks after. After that, so basically, there's one excuse after another.
With the cards, you're saying?
Yes, with the cards, because he said that the base we called because they have to change the design on it. Okay. So they'll take a little time because they're doing what on the design on the cards. Basically, that's what the last time we heard about.
And when was that?
Actually, that was last month, December month.
All right, so okay. Well, so fairly standard situation, which I think, and this is where Cujo's, as I say, he was much more succinct with explaining that everything that's been done has been corrupted by the very nature that finance was charged for it, and that it wasn't done by you. What has to probably, let me see. I guess here would be a question. What do you think the next steps are?
For me, the next steps is, seeing that I come across the videos and things that could recently, no matter what, the document that he sent it is, he really sent it or not. And then I'll have to send it over myself, so that's the first thing I have to do. Am I right or wrong?
So, when they talk about judicial proclamation, right?
Yes.
They got that off rvbaypublications.com for free. That you could just download that. That's not something that they're supposed to be selling. So what you're gonna do is go on rvbaypublications.com. There's a name correction and judicial proclamation section.
There.
Right.
There. So you wrote that down, right? RV Bay Publications. Okay. The first thing that's going to come up is it's going to say RV Bay for rental vehicles. It'll say look for RV Bay Publication and click on that. And I would say Kudo too. Read the page. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I was getting at.
Read that. Oh, okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, yeah, that's what I was getting at. Like when you go on the name correction and the judicial proclamation, the documents are there, but also those pages have information on it relative to what that is, so that you know, opposed to you going to somebody and them telling you what it is because you didn't want to, or because they didn't show you where to go so you could learn yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's what the point is about this. You learning for yourself about your nationality and your birthrights, not somebody doing a process for you. You know what I mean?
Now, I just want to say, Aaron, right here we've got right up to the main point of this. This whole stuff, you have met your nationality at the point that it is in regards to you wanting to stay in another part of your kingdom, and what this is going to take is you getting that knowledge and standing on it by yourself. That's what this whole movement is about. That paperwork stuff is all secondary on what's happening. This guy has taken advantage of that, taken advantage that we've been dumbed down as a people, and it sort of seems to attract a lot of people because this is what the European has done to us, right? What Cujo said is going on VBA publications, and you said, are you coming Sunday? This Sunday I will try to make it. This is like from 12 to 3.
Yeah.
Cujo?
Yeah.
Well, I'll try to make it. I'll tell any traveling system and whatnot. Most likely, if I do come, I'll become a consultant. What area? Looking at a certain point, once we get to this point, to be looking to support their nation and this stuff, so that you don't get taken for your $3,000. Or at least you keep your money on. I wouldn't say I wasn't working on it, just that I came across your school because remember I mentioned here about DC, right? So I was talking about your course to DC, but then I get out in my head like DC is so far. This is Ontario.
All right. So that's the second thing now. That this opportunity to claim that Canaanland is a republic, when if you go check Article 11, Articles of Confederation, you don't hear any talk about any Canaanland in there with regard to acceding to the Union State Society's jurisdiction. There's no Canaanland there. So Canaanland can't be a republic and never, ever, ever was a republic. The only republic is Canada. Canada. This is the first one I said, nah, it's not real. No way it's real. Then got another call this week. And the Moorish saying, yeah, I called Moorish Consular Court in BC. I called them. They said that there's no other temple they never heard of, they don't know about anything going on in the jurisdiction of Toronto. They don't know anything. They said, you know, this is confusing. I'm just confused. Like, why are you confused? Because we're Moors, right? Yes, we're Moors. So how come they wouldn't tell me about you? I know, gotta ask them. You have to ask them. Because it's just mind-boggling to me that this is supposed to be the jurisdiction that's taking care of the Moors. And then a Moor in a jurisdiction calls them. And instead of sending, because, for example, I know Taj. So consular court can't say that they don't know about Canaanland. Impossible. Because people tell us that he said, check us, when we're out here. So we know that he didn't talk to them. We know they talked to somebody else in the camp. Because why would somebody not refer to the only jurisdiction, Moorish anything, in Toronto is us? For the past 10 years, nobody else. Nobody else been doing Moorish anything, only us. Everybody knows that, seen us around, know who the Moors are in Toronto because of us. Why wouldn't they tell them, come check us? Why wouldn't they tell them, check us? Why would they try to deal with the individuals, and then when the individuals finally get to us, these individuals now are saying, hold on a second, that's weird. Why wouldn't they just tell me you from the jump? I've been going to their classes for the past 6 months. I've been going to their stuff. They say that they're the Moorish consular whatever for all the Moors. I'm like, yes, I finally found the Moorish whatever for all the Moors. I'm there for 6 months. And once again, in just doing my own studying, I bumped into Canaanland Moors. So I'm watching Canaanland Moors. I'm saying, how come this I've been listening to these people for 6 months. And then in my own research, I see something called Canaanland. Now, the people who are the Moorish consular, whatever, they say that they're Canaanland Republic. So that means they must be the head of all the jurisdictions in Canaanland. Because the Republic, and look at law dictionary, okay, the Republic, okay. But then, how come for the 6 months that I've been going to class with these people, I never heard this guy ever? But he's calling himself Canaanland. No, whatever. Maybe he's just somebody in the back, doesn't say it much or whatever. Come to find out that she should have known about us. How? Remember, this is two different occurrences with two different people who don't know each other, trying to find their nationality and birthrights properly. They're not even on it because they got some issue. They're just doing some research and started bumping into information. And here they are. Here they are at the point of finally saying, yes, I'm gonna and go forward with being who they know that they are. They're about to get played by somebody. The issue is that Moors have gone away from the foundation. Moors, why you have to go away from the foundation? How is it that people are just out there, and they bump into one of the 2,000 videos? Like, it's not me. Like, I'm looking at it now, I see what the whole point was. Like the more says, you got business, like, yeah, whateverlaw.com. Got something. Once they say Canaanland, once you hear Canaanland, that's 2008. Trust me, I'm from here. And there was no Canaanland before 2008 out here. Trust me on that. Now, these people came yesterday, are claiming to be the representatives of Canaanland, but not referring people from Toronto to the people who brought the name Canaanland to Toronto. Like, we know that's treason. But because of the cult of intelligence, we always have these things to deal with. That's why we're telling Moors. I mean, give thanks to the Moors who've been supporting. Give thanks for the Moors who've been creating so that the Moors can have something. Whether the Moors be able to have some soap or some shirts or some tams or some shoes or whatever. Toothpaste. Once it's Moorish, give thanks to all the Moors who are doing their best. Doing their best to bring this back to the place where it's supposed to be. We had a few questions, and then we have some more conversations to have. So the noble, then again, this is the thing. People find us. We're not out here on some promoting and have the best looking whatever, so it flips the thing properly on the screen. And man, stop the BS. People are tired getting played. We know that. They tell us after they get played. And then they learn. Never are they going to get played again. And now they're on the right track. Because why? They're found the foundation. They're finally on solid ground. Now they could start building. It doesn't matter. Dues been paid. So you can say whatever, but you know what I mean? Like Canaanland rep for what we had to rep for. And whoever's will it's gonna be, regardless of what, they're gonna be Moors. Think this Moor just sending the email because he's bored or whatever? He's out here studying, trying to find his way in this madness. The same madness that Noble Drew Ali has prophesied that we're going to be experiencing, because the people are in mental slavery trying to get out. That's going to create madness. Everybody trying to get out of mental slavery. Noble Drew Ali said he's not going to wake you up all at once. Because wake you up all, you guys going to tear the stuff up and we won't even have anything for everybody wakes up at once. But the bottleneck pressure cooker, not good. Not good. Noble Ali told these Moors about the 16 secretaries. Doors bust open right now. Like it is being flooded. And again, this is why these people come out and they tiptoe on the line, 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 and they rate people crazy. You know, we can say whatever as fiat and all that stuff, but people use that right now to do whatever. So whatever, that's just what it is. Those who are smart, they have gold or whatever, and they have other stuff. Cool, they're in their own category. All people are doing is bringing confusion. And again, it's so sharp because Noble Drew Ali called all of this. It's so crazy. He called all of this. Peace and love, family. I just want to say I appreciate the time and effort put into sharing the knowledge and clearing up the confusion. I've been following you for a while now. I'm in the South Carolina territory. I just had a question about judicial notice paperwork. I have my paperwork printed from RV Bay as well as from the consulate site. I noticed that the paperwork is slightly different as far as the flag and banner is concerned. I just needed to know, should I do both sets and send one to Great Seal and the other back to the consulate? Also wanted to inquire about becoming part of our temple. Start with the latter. So for our temple honorary membership, I can send you the membership form, fill it out, send it in. The paperwork, now, if you check the paperwork, you'll see that pretty much the same stuff. Just people playing around. They download the paperwork under the guise of they're with RV Bay Publications. This is how they initially started out. This is how the confusion initially started. Because they were posing like they were with RV Bay Publications. The same way how you're bringing it into the question, this is how they were presenting themselves to the masses. The same way that they present themselves as, because if you're dealing with consular court, then you have to have proof with regard to the corporate jurisdiction yielding to the Moorish consular court to show that they can get people out of jail and all that type of stuff and extract people. But people who are in the origin of it know about the bay that when he got kidnapped, Consular General didn't even go. How come he didn't go? What kind of obligations you got? That somebody coming to check you gets kidnapped, and then you send other people. And then the other people that go actually bond him out, and then they're presenting it like they extracted him, and everybody bought it. And the Moors bonded him, didn't say that they bonded him. How come they didn't say that they bonded him? But that's here nor there, but that's just how much confusion they're here to cause. Remember, these are the same people that we were just talking about that have Canaanland as a republic, which Canaanland can't be a republic. Anybody saying Canaanland a republic is selling you into slavery. These are the same people. That this, why would he, the only reason he would be confused is because when he downloaded the paperwork, they were the same. Well, what sense does it make for two different jurisdictions that one of them supposedly pretending to be the same as the other jurisdiction or whatever like that? So, we'll just have the same paperwork as them, and then, you can download our paperwork and then send it to us, and we'll do what they've been doing forever. So then why not just go with the people who've been doing it forever? Why are you going with new people? You don't even know them. Like the Moor said, So I found your stuff. And I just decided to call. Let me just call this number. Oh, no, let me just email. Emailed how to build. Like, what do you mean? You're where I'm at. How come they never told me about you? I don't know. Should ask them. We're all Moors, though. Yeah, but this is confusing. You know why it's confusing? How about this? How about get off the fence and come over on our side and then look at it and tell me if you're still confused? So, well, yeah, okay. I kind of see what you mean. Yeah, because common sense. Why? And then now it means people are questioning themselves, which means they're curing themselves of mental slavery. Which is what the whole point of the program is that Nobujuali left for these Moors. Where they're robbing people. Opposed to waking them up out of their slavery, you're trying to keep them as a slave? And then want honors? So do not send nothing to no consul or anything. Hell are you talking about? And if people want to take it like, oh, you were talking about negative with them because you're hating, then you are. Then you go over there. Then go send your stuff over there. We're here with Great Seal, and we're straight. We've been repping that with no issues. Well, so and so had to, yeah, and so died in a car crash. What's your point? Like, what's your point? Trying to play like stuff doesn't happen. Everything happens in every jurisdiction. You know, nobody's special. Allah slap who they want to slap. But if you're talking about you printed from both of them, and which one should I send the stuff to and all that, these people are playing you. Because guarantee you go check all of them, they got freaking Great Seal nationality card. They don't got some consulate whatever card. Or they have some Moorish Science Temple of America card. Guarantee you, they're not just repping some consular card only. Or they just show you that you think, yeah, that's what they're repping. They're not repping that. And again, since they stole the paperwork, more reason to let it go. Just let it go. Let it go. Stop playing. Stop playing follower. Stop being lazy. Being a glutton. You want people to do the work for you. Just want to sit on the conference call and push one and get fat. You don't have to do anything. Just sit there. Probably not even taking notes. You have the sandwich on your stomach and getting fat, listening to get some knowledge from some fake conference call. You ever wonder, like the real Moors, the Moors who, you maybe saw 3 or 4 of their videos, and then all of a sudden, they're just gone, just like that, because they're BS. They're like, forget this BS. I'm going to be a Moor, me and my children and my family, and that's it. Circle small. Why? Because of confusion. Purposeful confusion. Agenda confusion. The judicial proclamation paperwork was sealed, always been sealed by Great Seal. Always been sealed by Great Seal. The amount of people who have had that and have used that, had it and used it, no. Not just had it, but had it and used it. Did not need some Moorish jurisdiction to hold their hand and do something for them. They stood on their square with regard to their nationality and their birthrights. Because they're the judicial of the notice. The judicial notice is because you're the judicial. Then you read the stuff, it says I in there. Do you think that's talking about what other judicial are they talking about if that's saying I in it? There's I self-law master. Oh, but you need some jurisdiction to take your paperwork from you. Oh, this was another good one. So to convince them to not do go to the temple, like how I was telling in the beginning, how we did, right? When we were brought up in 2008, the Moors brought us in and said, you become a member of a temple. After you become a member of the temple, then you go get your stuff through Great Seal. Don't play around with anybody else. Because 2008, Great Seal had it locked down. Locked down. So we know that certain things weren't around then, like they are now. That's causing all the confusion. Back then, there's no confusion. Everything's straightforward. No confusion. You know who to go to, you know who not to go to, and then that was that. Now, crazy. So I want the more to know. Keep studying from rvbaypublications.com. Keep going there. I just keep going there. And through rvbaypublications.com, you can get your nationality card. Now, if you're Canaanland, again, you have to go through the temple. So if you're in Canaanland, And you go to them, they're going to send you to us anyway, and then your stuff's going to take longer because you have to follow a protocol. Just like these Moors who are telling people $3,000. Because what you're supposed to do if you're in this jurisdiction of Canaanland is you are going to go through us. Doesn't matter where you are. Those people didn't go through us to be whatever they are. Why is that the standard? Because we are the founders of this here. Why wouldn't you go through us? Oh, you want to do your own thing over there on the West Coast? Cool. Do their own thing. But don't call yourself Canaanland. Call that Canada Republic. Just like all the other states, you're not calling those by their indigenous name. When they say the Moorish Consular Court, and then you go to all the different consuls in the Moorish Consular Court. Now, they're letting you know. They're letting you know. Right? Why are they playing? Don't play around. Can't play around. Because you're running a fraud. And why you try to sell it? Why are you trying to sell out Canaanland like you sold out everybody else? You can't sell out Canaanland. Right? Every jurisdiction is talking about some state. Okay, fine. Canaanland's not a state. Call that Canada. Stop the BS. Don't try to put Canaanland in you guys' corporate jurisdiction that you're trying to do your whatever you're trying to do over there. And trying to make a mockery of us. Because when people go to you, you're not even telling them, come check us. Don't talk about Canaanland if you're talking about Tampa and Pennsylvania. Don't talk about Canaanland. Stop the BS. Talk about Alabama and all that stuff, and you're telling me about Canaanland? Canaanland's not no state of U.S. Canada is. So put Canada on your stuff. And don't rep some Moroccan flag or whatever. You get your red maple leaf and you rep that. If you want to rep some Canada. Don't put any red flag, green star and all that talking about you're repping for some Moorish whatever in this jurisdiction. Because we didn't need you people. Right? People didn't need you to be Moors. Great Seal had this lockdown. Still does. Because people are still waking up. Which is the whole point. Them waking up. Not go following somebody, joining up to something. You're playing. Kentrell Ali, 23 years old, interested in becoming a Moor. You're already a Moor. I have a few questions. What is the difference between Canaanland Moors, CMB teachings, and Moorish Science Temple of America, Noble Drew Ali teachings? Well, there's not. Those aren't two different teachings. Those are one teaching. CMB and Noble Drew Ali are relative. Canaanland Moors and Moorish Science Temple of America is relative. There's different jurisdictions of Moorish Science Temple of America that do things, you know, how they do things. But as far as ourself and Noble Drew Ali and teachings, we go with Noble Drew Ali and the teachings. We don't go with who says that they're the heads of some whatever, because we were taught about the Moorish Science Temple of America not being truly legitimate in this day and age. That was 2008. And that new Moors, who at that time, you know, was us, Noble Drew Ali prophesied that, you know, we're going to come and we're going to seat these old Moors in the back and we're going to carry out what's supposed to be carried out. You know, so that's what Noble Drew Ali's teachings was for us and where we are right now. But that might not be the same as you see with others. Same thing with when you go to CMB's teachings. You're going to talk to some people who are in CMB's teachings that are going to talk to you, have you thinking that people who are in that are crazy. When that's not really what the man brought. You can just go to the Library of Congress yourself and go get his stuff, if you could find it. This is another story. Just go on Canaanland Moors and watch the CMB classes, and you get schooled on some CMB. Some, you know, because we don't know it all, but we put some info out. So the Canaanland is the misnomer. Canaanland's alleged counterpart, substitute, is Canada. But we're Moors. Canaanland is just the jurisdiction above what they call U.S, which is really Morocco. Canaanland's above that. That they would say is Canada. But we're Moors. Right? Actually, the Moor whose contact you gave me, or the Moor who we just read his email, he's out your way. I'm gonna send your email to him. Y'all could build. You guys might live up the street or whatever. So Canaanland Moors, don't get confused with Moorish Science Temple of America. They're one and the same. Canaanland Moors is the jurisdiction that's north, or the Moors in the jurisdiction north of what they say is U.S. So us Moors up here say we're in Canaanland, not Canada. And us Moors in Canaanland started the first Moorish Science Temple of America out here. And it was because Noble Drew Ali prophesied that there was going to be a temple out here. So now it's here. which is the prophecy manifesting itself. So it should be common sense to pay honors. But if they don't want to pay honors, you know, just like how you're emailing to say, you know, I want to pay honors and ask you some questions. Luckily, you came to us. You might have went somewhere else and they would have took you on some wild goose chase, have you chasing turkeys, telling you it's geese or whatever. And play you. Right. So with the more before, I'll also send you the form. We're gonna do a call in the next 15 minutes. Just get through some more of these questions. Don't get played. It's not time to get played. Right. Don't get played. Right. So what we did as a temple, we said that we would give the people an opportunity to be part of Moorish Science Temple, because majority of people, I mean, they hear about Noble Jew Ali, they study him, they research, and they eventually get to that point where they say, well, damn, I'm going to go to the Moorish Science Temple. And they go to the Moorish Science Temple of America, and they get disappointed or whatever. And then once they get disappointed, they either completely fall off, say forget this, or they keep searching, trying to find something. You know, and then they would find us and then find out that we're Moorish Science Temple, and then well, how can I be part of yours? And they were like, okay, you know what? We're just gonna open the doors for anybody. At least they can say they're part of Moorish Science Temple. And then those people realized that when they said that they were part of Moorish Science Temple of America, Canaanland, oh, people started talking to them crazy. Started telling them how, you know, bad we were and how much people we got killed and arrested and how much people, like, whoa, what's wrong with them? That bad out there? Like, I don't know it's that bad. All right, that's what it is, you know. But we know, it's all good. And make sure the Moors put their, whatever your business is, make sure you put it in the chat so Moors could support you. If you're being industrious, you know, put your stuff out there. I'm seeing Moors with their, you know, knitted fezzes, and seeing Moors getting sharp. Moors getting sharp. Moors truly knowing more daily. Really knowing it. What else was there? Yeah, so there's not a join. If you're gonna join, if you want to join Moorish Science Temple of America, and then you're thinking that, oh well, Canaanland Moors is different than that, nah, it's all the same. People might have played it to you like that, but we rep Moorish Science Temple. We have a temple and all that. You know? More peace, King. My question is more personal, is irritating me due to a lot of deception, dishonesty from others. If you can help others, then why not share it? My question is, as a big brother, teacher, grand sheik, how do you deal with pressure? What made you keep going through all these deceptions, backstabbings when you started? What made you focus and motivated to be where you are? With all those disappointment and betrayals from different brothers and sisters, how did you surpass these different steps and levels of your life, depression, loneliness, or different issues at all, to be where you are right now and make over 2,000 videos? Since you want to answer the line, I really appreciate to take part in the show details this month. Okay, so second part, we'll try to do one day this week or so. First part, pressure pressure needs to be released. So I learned that anytime there's pressure, there has to be some type of release valve somewhere. There's no way there's no release valve. There has to be a release valve. So it's at the level now where when certain pressure, it's yielded so it wouldn't blow, opposed to have to deal with it per se. Because not all pressure is bad. Some pressure keeps your tires good so that you're not riding on rims. Not all pressure is bad. So dealing with it is really, it's, if you haven't dealt with pressure, first thing is foods. If you feel pressured, you probably got salt in there, probably got sugar in there, probably got flour in there. It's all about flowing energy so that there's no pressure. The only time we have pressure is when you have blockages. And then blockages could be anything. Which is why all these things are part of I Self-Law Master. You're going to go ask Consular Court to help you deal with your pressure? Doubt it. So why would you want them to deal with anything else for you? Especially if there's somebody else who's been doing that same stuff for the past 30 years or whatever, and they've been fine without some consular or whatever. So you could also do the chart. Just check. Could be, you doing things on black box days or whatever that's creating the pressure. Could be you causing the imbalance, or entity causing the imbalance, which is creating the pressure. But there's not supposed to be pressure. Think back to ancient time. You think people were pressured if they built pyramids or whatever? I don't think they were pressured. They were straight. They don't know stress. Stress what? Stress about what? You mean stress about something? Sun shining or whatever? No meteors falling on the planet? Yeah, stuff is good. Stuff is good. Going through all the deception, backstabbing when we started. No, like we said, we were trained to know who is who. I mean, we didn't guess with Moors. We already know who the Moors were, and anybody else, if you're a stranger, then, you get watched until you prove yourself worthy. You prove yourself worthy, then, all right, then there's no issue. You know that you're down. It's like we know people, there are people who've been around since '08, you know, still around, still repping. Just as hard as they were in '08, you know. There's more still repping. And then there's more who it's not backstabbing. You know, some of them really just went underground because this was some BS. They got families and all that stuff. They don't have time to play around with people who aren't serious with what this is about. You know, there's still more than all that, but they're not out there because people aren't serious. You know what I mean? It's like I was watching a show with one of these guy goes out to see the gang whatever, videotape some gang whatever, and then they have you know, the interviewee, you know, and the interviewee was a brother that was, you know, in the hood or whatever, trying to stop the violence or whatever like that, you know, and it came out that, yeah, you know, this is just what I do, because, you know, like, yeah, I would love to get paid for this, but you can't get paid for this. You can't. This is just what, you know what I mean, has to do. Like had him, you know, stopping murders and stuff like that because he had a rapport with the dude, and the dude with the red thing and the da 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 da. Yeah, he's definitely gonna be the one to get the guy over there with the da 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 da. You know what I mean? Trucing and whatever. So we got taught about those stuff. So we already knew what it's gonna be. Morris killed the prophet. Like, what do you mean? It's not. It's gonna be cakewalk. You know Europeans. You know Europeans killed El Hajj. What do you mean? We got taken out by their own, right? What made me focused and motivated to be where I am? I wish I was somewhere. I'm not nowhere yet. Little brother Yusuf, he's somewhere. All these Moors that are putting their children on some more science and they're embracing it and all that stuff at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. Those are the ones that keep me focused and motivated to be where I'm at. Knowing that, oh yeah, they are going to get older. They're going to get older. And they got it already. Right? Again, go back to the same thing. I've been doing community work. I mean, I know volunteer days of community work. I know the days of, you know, having the key for the storeroom, and these people have program or whatever like that, and youths play ball for 3 hours. You don't give them a drink or nothing. Not even no fountain in the place. Place is baking hot. Yo, we're raiding the stuff. Well, you know, we raid gently. We raid, not raid. But at least everybody could have 2 drinks. Because stuff just sitting there, not even doing nothing with it. Back stuff from last barbecue that they didn't use or whatever, still sitting there. Yo, you drink the thing, man. Drink all you want to drink. Don't even worry about these people. And then you earn that rapport. Because they see that you're not playing. They see that you're real. You know, there's some motivation. A youth man letting you know, yo, I respect you, man. Thanks. Or a little sister. You're like the dad I never had. That's the motto. Uplift fallen. With all the disappointments and betrayals from different brothers and sisters, how do you surpass those different steps, levels in your life? Depression, loneliness, different issues at all to be where you are right now. Now, to make so many videos. Now the videos, like we tell Moors that videos was just, hey, you should start putting up videos. All right, put up videos. No plan. Just put up videos. From the first video, when Morris said, put up videos. He said, hey man, you know how to work this YouTube thing? Yeah, you got some videos to put up? I don't know, I'm gonna check it out and see whatever. And then he went, and this more was, you know, so the first videos on the YouTube was Bobby Hemmett's Sexual Magic. And that's when I first realized how crazy the thing was with the views or whatever, but didn't really get really what was going on. You know, Sexual Magic got him. So that was nothing for real. You know, that was just let's start recording and uploading, and that was it. And just kept recording and uploading. That's it. Yeah, just get the camera, walk around, and tape stuff. Let's film this. Let's start filming Juali days. Let's start filming, you know, and turn into a library. Depression, loneliness, and all that stuff. Those stuff don't even, because there's psychedelics. So when you see the other side, this life ain't nothing to be depressed about. Nothing to be depressed about. Like not even. When you check the other side, when you do a shrooms or something, you do some group meditation. With some DMT or something. You realize that life is beautiful because you get to learn things. You know. And when you go there, there's certain things that you wish you could stay there. But, you know, that's just too much all the time. You know, that is too much all the time. When you look at, you know, disappointments and betrayals or whatever, you know, that's people. Everybody is here for their own whatever. You know what I mean? Like, they got their own path to walk. They'll deal with whatever they got to deal with. That's them. I already know Allah guides the movement, and Noble Juali is her prophet. And what he said, probably Allah had something to do with it. So I'm going to try to take it as serious as possible. So when time comes, I know that I'm straight with them. And then everything else is whatever it's going to be. Right. So again, always remember that, like Brother Yusuf's friend said, the breathing, man, that's all it's about. Soon as it start getting crazy, just start doing the inhale, exhale until you start feeling lightheaded and all that stuff, and then you'll be all right. And then start thinking. Get the flow. Get the flow going. You have to get the flow going. Because yeah, we know people are facing all types of madness. But we have to, there's a lot more. We have to
Not to everybody in the chat.
please. Yes, more. So you had sent me the message to say that you had a message.
You said I had a message?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to show my appreciation for the work of the prophet and, you know, all he's done with his teaching. You know, I mean, it's for those who are just coming into the movement, I'm just focus on the prophet. You know, focus on the prophet. Everything you need is there for you. You know, don't listen to nobody else. You do the reading. You do the work. And see what you come up with. Don't listen to nobody else because it's for you. It's for you.
Now, how you reach that conclusion that it's for someone, it's not, you know, something else. Like how you get there?
Oh, how did I get where I'm at from the prophet teachings?
Yeah.
From doing my own studies. From this, well, first of all, how I came into the movement. I came in and I studied under Emil Greenfield, Tyree Bay, which I personally call him National Grand Chief because I mean his teachings. I mean he teaches the truth about our communities in the slums of North America. I mean it's just there. So before I actually even heard about Emil Greenfield, I was already doing my own studies about, you know, our own history because, you know, they don't really teach it in the public schools.
Right.
So I had started off with the master teachers, Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark. And I started off with them. So when I ran into Emil Grayfield, and Emil was talking about Moors, I'm like, Moors? Wait a minute, Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark saying the same thing. They saying the exact same thing. So I just stayed with Emil, and I did my studies from them. And so, I mean, it clicked automatically. Once I got the prophet literature, oh man, it clicked automatically. There was no doubt about it. Look, Emil teaches law and history. And that's the two things that they don't even much teach in the public schools is law and history. They don't teach that at all. They don't teach colonialism. They don't teach constitutional principle. And that's the two main things. Mm-hmm. All right? But stick to the prophet literature, especially the Holy Quran. I mean, oh my God, this is the first 10 chapters. You know, this is the first 10 chapters are taking that, you know, but just study the whole Holy Quran. And do your own research. Because you're going to need more, all right? You're going to two things for sure. You're going to need law and you're going to need history because they go together, period. They go together. They are not separate, all right? We talking about world history, right? We talking about world history and we talking about international law, all right? So with the prophet return on nationality and birthright, it's the truth. It's the truth. I mean, you see why, oh my God, how can I put it? I wish that my great-great-grandmother knew about the prophet, because the prophet came on the scene, 1913, all right? So we talking generations ago, we supposed to have this.
Right.
All right?
Generations.
So, oh my God, man, it is amazing. I mean, it is amazing. I mean, it blows the so-called you know, your Negro and your black, it blows that out of the water. It blows that, oh, your ancestor was only slaves on a plantation. It blows, you came over here on slaves. I mean, it blows it out of the water. But you would have to do the work. Nobody else. You would have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So once you get there, you're like, oh man, I mean, this is wonderful. It's like what Grand Cujo said, man. Life is wonderful once you know what you is. You know, you can stand it for anybody. You know, like, what you talking about? What? I mean, you can stand it for anybody. It don't matter if they're a federal administrator, a state administrator, or a local municipality, metropolitan administrator. It don't matter who they is. It don't matter. Once you know who you are, you good. You straight across the board. But read the proper literature and stick to your own studies. Islam, that's the message I had. Islam.
Islam, more. Peace and love. Give thanks, bro.
Yeah.
See if there was any more questions in here. Yeah, don't let them. Don't let them sway you. Don't get swayed. Oh yeah, can't forget this. Can't forget this.
He was killed because he had the audacity to speak for equality. He had the audacity not only to learn how the law worked, learn how the Constitution applies to us, but then take it to the Supreme Court so he can win. And that's what we were trying to tell the kids, is that, you know, it was more than about having a dream. It was about, you know, the continuance of a dream and the continuance of us as a fallen people in this country to uplift ourselves into humanity and be a part of the Constitution and be a part of law. And
somebody studied the prophet.
It was more than about having a dream. It was about, you know, the continuance of a dream and the continuance of us as a fallen people in this country to uplift ourselves into humanity and be a part of the Constitution and be a part of law and be a part of this society.
So if you were the president of the United States, what changes would you make for us to, you know, to have a better society? Because we're to me, it's 2019, and you know, ever since the 60s, it's been going up and down. But you know, 2019, 2018 has been kind of a bad year. So what changes would you make to get us back to where we need to go?
Well, I think you have to go back to Lincoln and the 13th Amendment with 20 articles.
Huh? What you say? What did he say on national TV? What did he say on Inside the NBA? Nobody talks about that except Morris. All right? Only people who talk about that. What did he say on EJ's Neo Saturday night? Let's see what he said.
2018 has been kind of a bad year. So what changes would you make to get us back to where we need to go?
Well, I think you have to go back to Lincoln and the 13th Amendment with 20 articles, not 3. The elimination, you won't need the 14th and the 15th Amendment. The criminalization of minorities in this country.
Hold on a second.
Of minorities in this country. So the first thing that I would do is...
You know, 2019, 2018 has been kind of a bad year. So what changes would you make to get us back to where we need to go?
Well, I think you have to go back to Lincoln and the 13th Amendment with 20 articles, not 3. The elimination, you won't need the 14th and the 15th Amendment.
What?
The criminalization of, minorities in this country, the enslavement of minorities in this country. So the first thing that I would do is what the Constitution was written for in the first place, was to eliminate the race box. You know, race is a social construct, and it was invented in this country right? To talk and to call each other black, white, colored, Negro, African American, whichever label you choose. And I would say this to all of you, all of us who have traveled outside of the United States. When you travel outside of the United States, whatever country you enter into, you never was a social construct, and it was invented.
Would you make for us to, you know, to have a better society? Because we're to me, it's 2019, and you know, ever since the 60s, it's been going up and down. But you know, 2019, 2018 has been kind of a bad year. So, what changes would you make to get us back to where we need to go?
Well, I think you have to go back to Lincoln and the 13th Amendment with 20 articles, not 3. The elimination, you won't need the 14th and the 15th Amendment. The criminalization of minorities in this country, the enslavement of minorities in this country. So the first thing that I would do is what the Constitution was written for in the first place.
He pretty much said the M-word. He pretty much said the M-word. I don't care. He pretty much said the M-word. There's no way. No way. He pretty much said it. Crazy. This man was great. He was great. He was great. He knew exactly what he was doing. Let's remember.
Was to eliminate the race box. You know, race is a social construct, and it was invented. And it was invented in this country, right, to talk and to call each other black, white, colored, Negro, African American, whichever label you choose.
The word Negro deludes in the Latin language to the word nigger, the same as the word colored deludes to anything that is painted, varnished, or dyed. And every nation must bear a national descent name of their forefathers, because honoring thy fathers and thy mothers, your days will be lengthened upon the earth. These names have never been recognized by any true American citizens of this day. Never been recognized.
And I would say this to all of you, all of us who have traveled outside of the United States. When you travel outside of the United States, whatever country you enter into, you never, ever say you're black, and you never signify as white.
Ooh. Hoo, 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 hoo. There's the EJ stat of the night. There's the EJ stat of the night. Remember, this is the second one. Remember, he already dropped some bombs already before. Right? Then you know who he's studying from. Then you know who he's studying from. Let's give you that again. Is he gonna play? Like he didn't drop
articles, not 3. The elimination, you won't need the 14th and the 15th Amendment. The criminalization of minorities in this country, the enslavement of minorities in this country. So the first thing that I would do is what the Constitution was written for in the first place, was to eliminate the race box. You know, race is a social construct, and it was invented. And it was invented in this country, right, to talk and to call each other black, white, colored, Negro, African American, whichever label you choose. And I would say this to all of you, all of us who have traveled outside of the United States. When you travel outside of the United States, whatever country you enter into, you never, ever say you're black, and you never signify as white. You signify as American, and we are all Americans, and that's what it's really all about. So I would eliminate the race box.
You know what I do every...
Whew. Well, I'll be damned. Well, I'll be damned. You never, ever, or you never, never. Let's just see. Let's just hear him kill it again. Let's just hear the Lord Isaiah kill it again, because the Lord went off on him. The Lord went off. The Lord went off. Actually, damn, let's just give him a full rewind.
And you want justice in law. You want justice under the Constitution.
Oh
so
boy, let's just back him
50s,
up
the
a little.
40s, the 30s.
Oh boy, let's just back him up a little.
To have equal housing or fair housing, to be able to vote. The Voting Rights Act was passed in the 60s. To fight for civil rights in terms of separate, not being separated, but also being equal under the eyes of the law. And these kids understood that. And we are still having those fights.
That's what to me was enlightening to see and discouraging.
And discouraging.
You know, it was discouraging because I looked at you when you were looking at it, and I looked at it, I was like, damn, that looked like a class from 1965.
Yeah. And not only 65, but, you know, the 50s, the 40s, the 30s, the, you know, 1800s, the 1700s. And this has been the fight. And the fight is really simple. It's just for equality. All men are, you know, created equal under the eyes of the law.
Like,
I know, me and brother.
Man, that looked like a class from 19.
Me and brother Yusuf were talking about this, right? Now watch this again. Watch this again.
65.
Yeah. And not only 65, but, you know, the 50s, the 40s, the 30s, the, you know, 1800s, the 1700s. And
hey, how come you didn't skip the 19? The reason why he skipped the 1900s was because he was going to go say what he was going to say. How come he skipped the 1900s? You know, that's when the prophet jumped in him. Yeah, you got the purple tie and everything, right? The purple coming out the pocket. Yeah, Jolly tell you, you're clothed in purple and stuff like that.
And this has been the fight. And
the class from 1965.
Yeah. And not only 65, but, you know, the 50s, the 40s, the 30s, the, you know, 1800s, the 1700s. And this has been the fight. And the fight is really simple. It's just for equality. All men are, you know, created equal under the eyes of the law. And you want justice in law. You want justice under the Constitution. So you want everybody to have a level playing field and everybody to have an equal opportunity,
like sports,
to live the American dream.
Like sports.
Just like sports.
Just like sports.
That's why sports is so fascinating and so successful.
My question to you is, did you feel some a type of way at the Lorraine Motel?
I was so crushed and so hurt because, you know, when we went there, you saw in 306, the room that he was in, the last room that he was in, the double beds, the last meal that he was eating. And then when he walked out on the balcony, you saw the direct shot that the sniper had, and they had lines like, you know, pointing up to the building, the third window that the sniper was in that took his life. Mm-hmm. And then you heard his speech going on in the background. So it was a very powerful moment for myself and all.
So they have the speech going on.
Yeah. So the speech is going on in the background, and then you just remember that, okay, why was he killed? He was killed because he had the audacity to speak for equality. He had the audacity not only to learn how the law worked, learn how the Constitution applies to us, but then take it to the Supreme Court so he can win. And that's what we were trying to tell the kids, is that, you know, it was more than about having a dream. It was about, you know, the continuance of a dream and the continuance of us as a fallen people in this country to uplift ourselves into humanity and be a part of the Constitution and be a part of law and be a part of this society.
So if you were the president of the United States, what changes would you make for us to, you know, to have a better society? Because we're to me, it's 2019, and you know, ever since the 60s, it's been going up and down. But you know, 2019, 2018 has been kind of a bad year. So what changes would you make to get us back to where we need to go?
Well, I think you have to go back to Lincoln and the 13th Amendment with 20 articles, not 3. The elimination, you won't need the 14th and the 15th Amendment. The criminalization of, you know, minorities in this country, the enslavement of minorities in this country. So the first thing that I would do is what the Constitution was written for in the first place, was to eliminate the race box. You know, race is a social construct, and it was invented, and it was invented in this country, right, to talk and to call each other black, white, colored, Negro, African American, whichever label you choose. And I would say this to all of you, all of us who have traveled outside of the United States. When you travel outside of the United States, whatever country you enter into, you never, ever say you're black, and you never signify as white. You signify as American, and we are all Americans. And that's what it's really all about. So I would eliminate the race box.
You know what I do every year when I drive to work on this day when we're going to be on the air on MLK Day? Listen to the same CD.
Never signify as white.
Shaq did the tap the knees like, oh shit, Isaiah's about to get the bullet. It's like, oh shit, he said it right. Shaq the Mason. 33. Watch the knee tap. Watch the knee tap.
You signify as American, and we are all Americans. And that's what it's really all about. So I would eliminate the race box.
You know what I do every year when I drive to work on this day when we're going to be on the air on MLK Day? I listen to the same CD on that 45-minute drive from Brazelton down to the studio. Is his sermon at Ebenezer, the drum major instinct, which gets more powerful every time I hear it. And that instinct to want to be the leader.
All right, enough of that. Give thanks, Isaiah, for letting them know. Give thanks for letting them know. Give thanks. We're here. Almost at the end once again. I want to say peace and love to all Moors. We're going to get the shutdown soon because we played Isaiah. We're going to get the shutdown soon. This hangout on air will end if you broadcast content you aren't authorized to use. Boo! Boo! It was to put the truth out there. Isaiah knows. Never do you go somewhere call yourself black. Stop the BS. You're not black, Negro, colored, don't need the 14th Amendment. You need to go back to the 13th Amendment and all that. Come on. Come on. And then you're mad that we're showing it and then you want to shut down the stuff? Come on. No, he did more than half of these black have have a YouTube, whatever. Told them straight. Told them straight. I know he was going in on them too. You know that they were mad. They were mad in my use of voice. They were mad. They were upset. They were upset. I know. Yeah. Right? Isaiah is the new reincarnated prophet. Forget all those fake Moors out there saying they're reincarnated prophet. Isaiah's the new one. He at least went on TV, said that stuff. These fake Moors going on TV telling you about some damn get a license or whatever. Isaiah telling you how it is. Straight. Isaiah is a Supreme Grand Council. How about that? Let's make Isaiah Supreme Grand Council. I think Brother Jeremy put that out there. These chat muftis go on threads, and you don't want to be on the thread with a chat mufti. You don't want to be in a comment section with the wrong chat mufti. Moors do the clean swipes only. Islam to all the Moors. Peace and love to the Moors worldwide. Don't forget, support everything Moorish. Once it's foundation, stop playing. Stop playing. Don't play. Do not play. We just got word that the Red Hats video was crisis actors. Stuff is falling to shambles. Stuff is falling to shambles. Don't forget, boys, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, MHHS, Eyes Wide Open, Block Talk Radio. Call-in number. Don't forget, calling early. You're not getting in. 319-527-6751. 319-527-6751. 425-569-5201. 425-569-5201. And 347-945-5899. 347-945-5899. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. It's pretty much over for everybody who's been fronting. So either get down with the real or get out the way. Don't forget, support. Find some Moors who are doing some good and help those Moors do more good. Don't help dirty Moors do more dirt. Help good Moors do more good. And everything should be straight. That's all. Take some time, study, and get with some good Moors. Take some time, study, get with some good Moors. Study, get with some good Moors. There's a lot of games being played out here. There's a lot of opportunism and vampirism and things that, you know, we already did our rituals and stuff like that. We already went to the crossroads and we already went to the hole in the tree and all that stuff and did our rituals. That's why we're still here. And really got the messages. Really got the messages. Islam taught the Moors.
I'm so against jail, I can't rock and roll. Rappers think they're MCs cause they got an award. Sucking and bum rushing, but giving praises to God. Giving praise to Jesus Christ and giving praise to the Lord. Sin as if it grows on trees. Living a fraud. Living in a mansion abroad. Or live on the street. Too much dying to call this living, so I live on this beat. Typical IHL styling. Jack beats for fun. Jack beats with midnight, Jack beats with sun. Actually, Jack beats with Simon, I'm son, we kill him. Re-ups that roll with Hannibal Barker, millennium. Not these Negroes on blocks hanging like chin species. Hanging from Obama's hole, not slave hanging trees. Babies having babies more than they did before. Do things you won't regret, little brother be sure. No second guessing, no messing with weapons. No matter how smart you think you are, no messing with lessons. Learning continue to earn karmic credit. Systems been crashed, everything is bought with debit or discharged with bonds. So I'm using my word, trying to see with 2 eyes, and I'm using the third for knowledge, target practice. I'm using a nerd to give people the avian flu, they're using the bird. Musta gave him mad cow, look how they glad now. Black face on colonism, no one sad now. I'm so against jail, I can't rob and pause. I'm so against jail, I can't rob and pause. No gas for inaugurations of black presidents, voted in by Europeans and black residents from US ghettos to Toronto housing projects. Prophet Drew said when the Asiatic heads office with the Euro vice pres. So I know we spoke real. Garvey knew the Adam Drew opened the circle 7 seals. Haile Selassie knew, so he wore the Star of David. 6 point X Alpha is a star boy. Talk less and listen more, cause you got 2 ears. Burnt copper, torn a pop star. Been here for years. Been here before that red man. Been here before clears. Been here to bear witness to the trail of tears. I planted the now chopped down cherry tree. Also planted a self-destruct switch in the hybrid family. Activated, caused combustion and severe sunstroke. Me, Moorish, or an African slave in a yoke. When I'm serious, I know you take me for jokes. Then claim you took me off my land to take me on boats. Take me for molasses, take me for set quotes. Now you think less and give it free and take that notes. We take vaccines and shots that give strep throat. Moors evangel for dollars just like Creflo. Some Moors are black people, all black people are Moors. Some blacks say that the Christian Harlem Jews were Moors. Even Martin Lawrence played a night because he's a Moor. You can say what you wish, even the fish is a Moor. Even to dock your ship has to do with the Moor. No matter how much of us you kill, there would still be a Moor. I'm so against jail, I can't rob and pause. I'm so against jail, I can't rob and pause.